Hello and welcome back to Good Nightmare. As I said in a previous episode, my uploads may be a little bit sporadic as I'm currently working from home and working on getting into a new house when it comes available. And as we know, the world is in a bit of an unusual state at the moment. I will try to do my best to upload as often or as regularly as possible and try to keep things focused just on the podcast because we could all use an escape. Today's episode was suggested by my friend Abby. This was early on when I started the podcast, so it has taken me a long time to get to it. With the resurgence of witchcraft in popular culture in the last few months, I thought it would be fitting to discuss Tituba, the first woman to be accused of practicing witchcraft during the infamous Salem witch trials in 1692. Tituba was enslaved by Samuel Parris, and little is known about her life prior to her enslavement. Her country of origin and her ethnicity is debated, but popular claims are that she was originally from Barbados and that she was Native American. Tituba was recorded as being close to the Parris family, praying with the children and eating meals with them, even sharing their beds. Somewhat unsurprisingly, it was a member of this household, Elizabeth Parris, and Abigail Williams, who originally accused Tituba of practicing witchcraft. Tituba was in fact the first in Salem village to confess to witchcraft in March of 1692, after initially denying the accusation. Her confession was to making a witch cake in retaliation of being beaten by Samuel Parris. She claimed to have been taught voodoo and occult techniques by her mistress in Barbados, and how to use these to protect herself from evil. As in most, if not all, cases, there was no proof that Tituba had performed any rituals or participated in any occult activity. And as all of us true crime buffs know, false confessions are not uncommon, especially under duress. Tituba had not had any intention to confess until she was coerced. She was tried at the same church that she had prayed at in the 3 years previously, and because it was told to the public that she was there to give a confession, there was quite a crowd, including members of the media at the time, who were there to take note of her exact words. In her confession, she reluctantly accused other local women of witchcraft, citing that Sarah Osborne owned a creature we'd likely now know as a harpy, the head of a woman with 2 legs and 2 wings. Her tales about black cats and dogs, foxes and wolves also caused the villagers to believe that Satan may have been among them. The children of the parish household were said to have been tortured. When Tituba asked who had tortured the girls, she said it was, quote, the devil, for all I know. She said that he had appeared to her as a white-haired man and had told her to torture the children lest she be killed herself. She provided detailed accounts of visits from the devil, his wards, and of other witches approaching her in disguise in order to dissuade her from her confession. Becoming overwhelmed by the trial at one point, Tituba stopped the ordeal and claimed she could not go on, that the devil had made her blind for telling his secrets. The townsfolk were terrified of her and saw the devil and his wards lurking around every corner. It's considered that Tituba's confession to witchcraft, giving such detail, spurned on the trials. Not in that it was her fault, but in that the hysteria of the time only grew the more they heard. Some suggest that had she not given such a thorough confession, The trials may have halted, though personally I think it's near impossible to say. If it wasn't Tituba, if people weren't searching for a villain or creating them, it would have been someone else or something else. Tituba was sentenced to imprisonment for her supposed crimes, and she remained there as Samuel Parris refused to pay to have her released. It was Parris who had also been recorded in Wonders of the Invisible World by Robert Califf that Parris had been the one to beat Tituba until she confessed and coached her on what to say when questioned. She was ultimately imprisoned for 15 months, retracted her confession, and was the last to be released toward the end of the Salem witch trials. It's assumed that she left Salem with whoever paid her jail fees. It can be reasonably safely assumed, as it still happens today, that Tituba was targeted for both her race and her social standing. We also know that the majority of accusations during the trials were against women. Being in a Puritan conservative town, Tituba was an easy and possibly a desirable target. The trials only escalated from there. By autumn, up to 144 accused witches had been named, with 19 men and women hanged for their supposed crimes. People of Salem would claim they had been made mute, pinched by, or otherwise attacked by witches and their summoned spirits, and the hysteria spread rapidly. Tituba is represented in popular culture, in books, movies, TV shows. One of the most infamous representations of her is in the 1953 play The Crucible by Arthur Miller. I plan to read this when I can get my hands on a copy. I think I own it, but my books are all boxed up and I can't get to any of them at the moment. The Crucible is said to pull a lot of information from The Devil in Massachusetts, a historical work by Marion L. Starkey, which is also probably worth a read if you're looking for further details on the case. I'd love to hear your thoughts about why you feel that it was women, and particularly Tituba, who were targeted at the beginning of the witch trials. Was it some kind of prejudice? Was it the idea of the other? Was it an opportunity for people to throw their enemies under the bus? You can catch me on Instagram or Twitter at goodnightmare_s, on Facebook at goodnightmarepod, or via email goodnightmare_s@outlook.com. As always, I'm happy to chat with any of you, so if you feel like reaching out and sharing a story or just telling me about how your life is going, feel free. I'll try to get some more episodes out to you soon, as I think a lot of us will have a bit of extra time on our hands. Remember to check in with yourself. Ask yourself, what do I need? What do I want? Check in with others. Offer your assistance if you're feeling up to it, and look for ways that you can help, or ways that you can ask for help. Take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next episode. Sweet dreams.